Hello everyone, so I hope you're doing okay. In this episode, we are going to talk about the pyridine synthesis. So, if you remember in our previous video, we have started talking about this pyridine and one particular mechanism about the pyridine synthesis. So, in this video, we are talking about another method which is mostly we can say it's an alternative method. It's called as Hans pyridine synthesis. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing this word incorrectly. Now, in this particular mechanism, the pyridine is synthesized mainly by beta ketoesters and aldehydes. I hope you're familiar with aldehydes, right? So this is basically aldehyde. This is the carbonyl carbon, and here we have an R group, and there's the hydrogen. This is the aldehyde group, and the beta ketoesters. The beta ketoesters are just like this. So here we have double bond, sorry, the double bond. In beta ketoesters we have the carbonyl carbon as well. Here we have the carbonyl carbon, and here we have CO2 ET and the methyl group. So this is a beta ketoester, right? So in this particular mechanism we are using two beta ketoesters, right? Two beta ketoesters and one aldehyde for pyridine synthesis. If you are wondering about this pyridine and if you are not familiar with the molecule at all, I will draw the pyridine molecule again. So it's just like the benzene. Instead of a one carbon, we have a nitrogen. So this is pyridine, right? This is pyridine. Now let's move on to the mechanism. So I'm going to break this mechanism into several steps, right? So we can easily follow this up. Now in our first step, here we have the beta ketoester, right? Now when we are introducing a base to our beta ketoester, right, we can change this oxygen, right? It's just like here. So we are going to take a hydrogen from here. We are going to take a hydrogen from here, just like think about ammonia. So ammonia's lone pair will donate its electron density towards a hydrogen here, and then what happens? These two electrons will donate its electron density towards this bond, and when this donation happen, you will see this particular carbon becomes unstabilized. So this bond has to break. This is the structure, the result from this particular mechanism. So this is what happens when you introduce a base to your beta ketoester. Now now if I ask you this question, right, why it has to become this hydrogen? Why it can be this hydrogen? Yes, there's a possibility of removing this hydrogen as well, but think about this. Here in this part, this carbon right here, this is also carbonyl carbon, right? This is also a carbonyl carbon. So original structure is just like this. Here we have a carbonyl carbon. This is the carbon at here, and here we have carbon, oxygen, and ET. This is the structure now. So we have two carbonyl carbons. These carbonyl carbons, right, the oxygen on this particular carbon attracts the electron density on this carbon atom. So this carbon atom becomes more electron deficient, right? So this makes this particular position, right, this particular position more acidic. Like the hydrogen on here, right, these hydrogens are more tend to break, like more tend to reactive compared to other hydrogen, because this particular hydrogen has two effects. It affects from this carbonyl carbon and this carbonyl carbon, both way around. So that's why when you introduce a base, this hydrogen removes and a double bond forms on this particular position. It's more possible to form the double bond on this particular position rather than here, because this position favored by two carbonyl carbons. That's the reason. So you need to understand these reasons. You need to understand the chemistry of these mechanisms, right? When you understand the chemistry, it's particularly easy to follow, right? So either way, when you given a even a different molecule at all, you can think on your own. So this is the background chemistry, what happens in this particular step. Now we will move on. Okay, now here we have the beta keto ester in more basic form. Now what happens is these two electron pair right here, these two electron pair will come back into this particular position to form the double bond. This electron donation will result in removing this double bond and attacking this carbonyl carbon. So this particular double bond will go give its electron density towards the oxygen atom. So here we have this structure. As you can see, this carbon over here is this one. It is connected to this particular carbon here. This is this carbon. So as you can see, here we have the R group and oxygen as well. Now what happens is a protonation will happen, right? Mostly if you remember, like let's say we have a NH4 plus, right? So one of the hydrogen of this NH4 plus, this nitrogen, will give its hydrogen atom to here. So we will have a structure like this. Okay. Now in some books, right, in some mechanisms, you will see that the removal of this particular group, right, that our next step here, as you can see, this is our next product that we need to form in this particular pathway. When you need to form this compound, you need to remove this part. You need to remove this particular group. The OH group is to be removed. In some books, you will directly remove this at this particular step, but I tend to more I normally add another step like this. I will add another step of protonation to make this OH group a water molecule, because yes, this happens, right? This particular this particular mechanism, like the OH group leaves as a OH minus. Yes, this happens, but it's more possible to leave this particular OH minus instead of a water molecule. If you remember your basic organic chemistry, OH2 or otherwise H2O, water molecule is a much more good leaving group compared to OH minus. This is much more stable. So it's better if you can make this particular OH group into a water molecule. So now here we have a positive charge here. It's better if you can make this OH2 into a water molecule and then remove it, because this is much more possible. You will see this particular mechanism as well in some more organic chemistry book as well. So I would say both these things are correct, both things are okay, but I will go with more detailed pathways since this is more possible. Okay, so after another protonation step, you can add another hydrogen to your oxygen. Now you have O and two hydrogens, which is basically a water molecule. In the next step, right, in the next step, this one comes here and this one goes here. So this particular carbon becomes destabilized. Due to this destabilization, this bond will be broken. So since we have a water molecule here, right, since we have a H2 group here, it's a very good leaving group. When this donation happens, when this electron donation happens, this particular group is tend to break more easily compared to OH minus, right? When you have OH minus, Yeah, the same thing can happen, same mechanism can happen, but when you have a water molecule at this end, it's more possible. So we will go with water molecule over here. So when you have a water molecule, this tend to break easily. So here this is the structure we have at last. So this is called as enone, right? We call this as enone. Now in our second step, right, here we have the enone, and we have another beta ketoester, right, in its more basic form, right? Here after the base, here we have the beta ketoester in this particular format. That's the format we have in here. So what happens is, this lone pair over here will come here to form a new pi bond. So this pi bond has to remove, and it will go and attack to this particular position. Sorry, it will go and attack to this particular position. Here, this one, this position. Okay, this position. So this pi bond will transfer to this part, and this one comes as a lone pair onto the oxygen. So this is the structure we have after this particular pathway. So there's a methyl group here. I just missed it. Okay, there's a methyl group here. So we have a double bond in this position, and we have oxygen and ion, and also we have carbon and carbon at this particular end. So I hope you are following this. So this is basically simple. Now as our next step, right, a protonation will happen, right? So this lone pair here will come here, and this pi bond will donate its electron density to a proton. So we have a single bond here. Now this is the compound we have at the end of this particular step. This is a very simple step. The second step is relatively simple compared to the step number 1. In step number 1, there is a little bit of chemistry. There is few things that you need to keep your mind. So in this case, it's completely easy, I would say. In step number 2, you can easily follow this. And even in step number 1, even though there are few things to think about it, like you need to think based on your chemistry knowledge, but if you draw this few times, like if you write this particular mechanism few times on your own by understanding the particular background and the chemistry, I'm pretty sure you will follow it. Now after this step, we are moving into the step number 3, which is the final step of our reaction mechanism. So this is the compound we have at the end of the step number 2. If you remember, we have ammonia in our medium, right? If we have ammonia in our medium, so now ammonia will come and play a role. So what happens is, this lone pair over here come and attack to one of the carbonyls. So this pi bond will break and come onto the oxygen. So here we have the compound which is attached by the ammonia. Okay, now at this step, a proton transfer will happen. One of the hydrogen in the ammonium group will transfer its proton to this oxygen. So we have a OH group and NH2. And at the next step, right, what happens is removal of a water molecule. So dehydrogen will happen. So OH on this end and a hydrogen on this end, right? Hydrogen on this and OH on this will remove together as a water molecule. So I hope the mechanism of this kind of elimination is relatively okay with you. Like these are basic chemistry, I hope, right? So I will not go into the much more details of this water removal. So after the dehydration, like a removal of a water molecule, we have a double bond in this particular position, Okay, now in this part we have a NH2 group, so a cyclization can happen. This lone pair on this nitrogen can go and attack to this particular position and pi bond will be broken. And after that, right, I have keep the protonation like the proton transfer in the same step, right? So the proton transfer will also happen, right? So actually what happens is after this attack you will get this particular structure. Right, this is the structure you have after this attack. Now nitrogen has a positive charge and 2 hydrogens, while the oxygen carries a negative charge. So then what happens is proton transfer. One of the hydrogens on this nitrogen will transfer to this oxygen. As you can see here, we have a OH group and nitrogen has 1 hydrogen. So charge is neutralized. And finally what happens is another dehydration, like a water molecule removes on this particular position, OH group on this case on this position and a hydrogen on this position will remove together and a double bond will be formed. As a final step, oxidation will happen to complete the initial ring. So here we have the pyridine structure. So yes, there are some other parts as well, but the main thing is we have the pyridine cycle, right? Here we have the heterocycle. So this is a pyridine compound. This is a deviant derivation of the pyridine compound. So here we have the pyridine. It's not exactly the pyridine. It's not exactly the pyridine, but we have come to the pyridine cycle. So this is the synthesis of pyridine using beta ketoesters and aldehyde. So I hope you are following this. I highly recommend you to write this on your own. Do this on your own a few times. Maybe you will be able to understand this and you will be able to write this by your own as well. So there are few things, especially in step number 1, and if you look at step number 3, there is no lot of complex things, but step number 1 I would say is relatively little bit. There are few chemistry related points, so you need to understand the basics. You need to understand how these molecules cooperate. So these are not hard, right? So you can catch this up. So I highly recommend you to write this on your own and especially understand the chemistry, understand the mechanism, and also keep your mind on the details, right? The arrowheads, the direction of the arrows, these are very important, and don't skip the steps. So when you write your mechanism on your exams, always remember, include all the steps and include all the correct compound structures. Those are very important to score the marks. So we will meet in our next video. We will continue about this particular topic. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment below. I will try my best to answer those questions. So have a good day.